In Ghana, you need to be a multipreneur, have various ventures going on until you can settle on the ventures that best fit your objectives and what you're trying to do in the country. It's not uncommon to find people that have day jobs, also having side hustles that supplement their day job. It's because the environment necessitates it. So think about it like this. If you're in a really expensive city and your income is relatively low to the expense of that city, Ghana was registered or highlighted as one of the most expensive cities in the world relative to incomes, then you're going to have to find ways to make extra money. I've seen it all over the place. People with day jobs that braid hair on the weekend, people with day jobs that bake cakes in the background. Even with my own team, I've seen people where they've been working for me, delivering good work. At the same time, they might be working for other clients on the side. Or I've even had a machine learning engineer who farms snails at the same time because there's a lucrative market in that space. So because of the environment that you're in, because there is a lack of a safety net, because high-paying jobs are come at a premium, are hard to find, and there's a lot of kind of inherent inefficiencies around getting those jobs, people are forced to find alternate means of generating an income. Now, let me get it right. This doesn't mean that you go around unfocused and have too many ventures going on. But here is like anywhere else. They often say the key is 7 streams of income in order to get to some degree of financial freedom. Here, your streams may be less, but what you need to get to grips with is the levels of income each stream give you, right? Because all of those are going to be really important in your day-to-day living. When I was originally planning, my core focus was on pound-dollar income, right? And that would be conventional wisdom in conventional times. But now, things have changed so much in terms of the appreciation of the cedi. It's really important to have a cedi income as well. And to be honest, even before the points of cedi appreciation, it's important to have a cedi income. Because what you don't want to be doing is taking your hard currency, paying fees, or getting unfavorable exchange rates through money transfer apps and those kind of things. And eventually you'll see your income, the power of your hard currency reducing. So I'll give you an example why it's so important to have multiple streams of income and across multiple currencies. When we first arrived in Ghana, the cedi rate was around 20 to 21 cedis to the pound. All of a sudden, 3 months later, 4 months later, the currency rapidly appreciated, the cedi that is to the pound. So whereas one pound was now 13 cedis, around 13.5 cedis. And that was so impactful on our day-to-day living. All of a sudden, everything was 40 to 50% more expensive, not because the price labels had changed, but because our income value had reduced. The value of our pound had reduced. So all of a sudden, when school fees were due, I'm having to find an extra £600, £700 for school fees because the pound was so weak against the cedi. Now, this isn't what normally happens. Generally, the trajectory is that the cedi depreciates over time. But with good governance, new government, gold prices increasing, us having better control over gold prices, gold exports, that has meant our cedi has got stronger. So what you found was some of the institutions that were previously charging in dollars automatically switched to cedis because they could see the value in the cedi. So you have to have multiple income streams from a variety of sources. Otherwise, you can find yourself in trouble. Hard currency, 100%, and do that first. Preferably get assets or have assets in the US or the UK that generate a monthly income for you without you having to do much. Stocks, shares, real estate, those kind of things. But you also need to have a cash generating business, cash in the system, preferably in Ghana. You can get away with hard currency alone to begin with, but you should be moving towards trying to generate a cash business. Now, I've spoken about different business ideas that work, that could generate cash, facilities for children to go and play at, children's entertainment services, if you were to do chop bars, etc. Because, I'll just flip the camera right. Some of the sellers and people trading on the street right now, buffroot, snacks, water, etc. If you can get a income source that generates you cedis on a day-to-day basis, I've seen people do everything from poultry farms to traditional farms, piggeries, and the numbers are astounding what you could generate. But because it's so far from what we typically understand to be business in the West, because we're so far removed from it, it's difficult to get your head around. You need to take your time to get in there, and you need to be able to find a way to add value. And it's really hard to do. Another reason why you need to be a multipreneur is just the inherent changes and fluctuations that happen within the system. This is a much more volatile system. At stages, the inflation rate was around 60% year on year, and inflation is cumulative. So, you had prices double, triple in some instances for simple things like oil and those kind of things, like cooking oil. And because it's a heavily import nation, when we have global shocks that affect the global reserve currency, i.e. the dollar, and the dollar becomes extremely strong, then the prices raise very quickly here. If the dollar becomes extremely weak, prices don't come down at the same price, at the same rate. Because if you're buying whatever it is you're importing into the country in dollars, and the dollar rate is detrimental to you, so you have to pay more, you immediately pass that cost onto your consumer. But if the dollar rate is benefiting you, you don't immediately reduce your prices. You wait to see if that dollar rate is sustained, and even then you probably won't reduce your prices because you benefit more. There's more margin in it. So in that circumstance, it's ideal to have a cedi income. It's ideal to have another avenue to income. So it's really critical. You need to be a multipreneur. You have to have an entrepreneur's mindset in order to get where you want to get to in the system and sustain yourself and be comfortable in the system as well. That's it for now, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what are the different businesses you're seeing people doing? Are people doing multiple? How are they faring? And if you had any business ideas or have any of them, put them in the comments below and let's discuss them. All right, until next time.